Game time, chaps. Game time. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. Let's get into it. So, you might be wondering, like, what type of advice am I talking about? Like, some advice is pretty much garbage. Like, I feel like, how do I address it now? Let's just calm down a bit, right? Let me just calm down a bit. How do I address it now? Because, like, when I think about this advice, like, back in the day, it would make so much sense. But ultimately, over time, I realized it was just garbage. Like, I had this one instance where I was there were these debate and speech clubs back in my school, right? Everybody knows debates and speech clubs, right? So I would go there and like see all these guys joining and they're debating, and I tried it once, and obviously I sucked, right? Because I didn't know how to say shit, obviously. But in my head, I was like, how can I actually be well at this? Like, how can I actually do this pretty good? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can I be good as these guys? And I would ask people for advice, and I ask my teachers and go to them, and they'd be like, "Oh, just be yourself. Just be yourself." Like, and that was the worst piece of advice I've ever received in my entire life. Be yourself. It's the worst advice anybody can give you in your entire life. Your current self is a baggage, firstly. I'll tell you, like, why it's a bad advice. Being yourself is the worst advice you can ever receive. Because, firstly, your current self is a baggage. Secondly, it's just victim to all these routines and all these vices and all these patterns and all these habits which don't serve you in the first place. And just by being yourself, the problem is like when we try to be ourselves, we're always taught to be ourselves in a manner where we don't show too much about ourselves. So that if it comes off as too much, other people will feel less. So we had to play it a bit humble to be ourselves. We were being ourselves, but being a bit humble so that we don't show much of ourselves so that others won't feel less. But that's pretty much garbage, honestly, in my opinion. And this is what I've realized over time as well. Like, I want to go with these three parts, obviously, of how it works. Like, why is it such a horrible advice to take in the first place? I mean, teachers don't know shit. I mean, no disrespect to them, but whatever. But school teachers and school never teaches you much, honestly. My school never did. I'll be honest with that. But it was good though. I made a lot of memories. School was still nice, but that advice in and of itself was pretty much horrible. Any person I went to, I would ask for any type of stuff or like how when there would be somewhat of a nuance related to something and I wanted to learn, they'd be like, "Oh, just be yourself." It doesn't define much, does it? So first, I want to go over the fact that why your current self doesn't cut it for you. When I say being yourself is horrible, is because your current self is a baggage. I mean, look at you right now. Look at you, genuinely, just look at you. Are you the person you actually want to be? You're not, right? But be honest with yourself, you're not. Then do you think your current self is gonna cut it? Just by being yourself, you're gonna achieve a certain goal, you're gonna learn a certain type of thing, you're gonna achieve a certain financial goal, or I don't know, a physical goal, a spiritual goal, whatever it might be. You're gonna achieve that just being yourself when your current self is just a baggage, your current self is holding you back. You can't, right? Your current self is not good in and of itself. It's like a blunt sword. You think is this sword is gonna cut through enemies? This thing you think this sword is gonna cut through leaves? Maybe a few. Afterwards, it's gonna be useless anyways. Otherwise, if you wanna let's say chop down a sharp tree with it, you need to sharpen it, right? Because it's dull. The current version is not good enough, so it has to go through some sort of stuff, right? The trials and tribulations, vice, all that stuff, so that it becomes new, right? Because the current self is a baggage. So when I say firstly about the fact that I wanted to that I just made obvious, like why is it a problem by being yourself? Because your current version doesn't serve you in any way, shape, or form. Secondly, it's dull, right? Your current version is dull right now. So whatever vices, whatever habits, and whatever patterns you're following right now in your life, all of them are holding you back in every single way, in every single metric. And you're just being yourself. You're not really changing them, are you? Like, I give you an instance. Let's say you have to, let's say your goal is to make 100K, 100K dollars. That's your goal. You think there's not going to be some sort of sacrifice involved in that? You think just by being yourself, you're going to achieve that goal? You won't, right? There's going to be certain type of people you don't have to go out with. There's going to be certain type of activities you have to cut down on. Certain type of habits you don't have to be victim to. All those things need to be cut down. And after that, there's a type of skill set that you need to acquire to actually put in the work and being able to show up on a consistent enough basis, even when you don't feel like it. And then you get the result right. You think being in your current vices, your current routines, your current habits, the current people you're meeting, everyone that is around you, when every single thing that is around you is just normal and too comfortable, you think that is going to allow you to actually achieve the things you want? Just think about it. Sorry, whatever, bullshit. But anyways, fourth wall break. Yeah, that's what this can be called. Yeah, I say it myself. I did. Now, or maybe I didn't. Whatever. But that is the thing. So your current self is a baggage, and you're already victim to all those routines. So logically, would it make sense to just be yourself? Would it? It wouldn't, right? Thirdly, I also want to talk about like how is this rooted in your. I didn't say it as say this point at the start at the beginning of the video when I was discussing it, but third point is mostly overlapping the idea of your identity. I think the identity video has to be the next one. It's going to be the next video now. Okay, I'll sit at the camera. The next video is going to be about identity construction. It's going to be the next one, but your identity right now, like the person you are right now, is not the person who can have that result. So just by being yourself doesn't really make much of a difference, does it? Okay, big deal. You're being yourself. Okay, whatever. You're acting normal. You're acting the way you are. You're not doing too much, like too many overt things and whatnot. But nothing is really changing, is it? You know it deep down why things aren't changing. You're being yourself, whatever. You're being true to yourself. But at the same time, your true self, your true identity is just rusty in and of itself. You're just stuck in this rut 24/7 and nothing is changing. And that is your identity as well. Your identity right now is what? A normal guy with a normal life, having normal aspirations, having a plan of and like having a plan and a vision about his future that he wasn't even sure of in the first place. It was told to him by someone else. Your identity is not even your own. So by being yourself, you're not even going to achieve those results that you want to achieve because you never had that, that blueprint in the first place. The blueprint that you're following, the framework that you're following was somebody else's. That identity was somebody else's. Somebody told you to follow. And by being that same person, that same identity is not going to allow you to reach the goal that you want to achieve as a person. You get my point? That's what that it's I know it might be hard to like, how do I say, almost like absorb it and almost like trying to extrapolate it into your entire life, understanding of what is happening, but try to understand the deeper level. Is my current version, the current version of myself, actually going to cut it in life? Is it actually going to make the cut? Is it actually going to achieve those things? Are my habits in line with what I actually want? Is my routine in line? Look, you don't have to be like, okay, time block, blah, 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 like 30 minutes, this. You don't have to do all that. But are you following a life which is going to like actually lead you onto your, how do I say, dream outcome or your desired outcome? Your habits, your patterns, the people you hang out with, the entertainment you consume, the stuff you do on a day-to-day basis, the stuff you have to do on a consistent basis. If you look at all those things and you realize, okay, my current self is not doing any of these things. If you're being honest with yourself, trust me, if you're being honest with yourself, you realize, okay, my current self was not doing even one of those things. So how do you logically think you're going to achieve the goal that you have in your life? How? So let me ask you the simple question. Is your current self actually going to cut it? So do you really think that just by being yourself, you can just have whatever you want in this life? Or you will realize that to have the things that you want actually in this life, you have to kill the old version of you. You have to kill that person almost, metaphorically, like you have to kill that person. Because whatever you're doing right now, whatever you've been doing so far, hasn't really served you in the past, has it? And if you keep continuing that, it's never going to serve you in the present, no matter what. No matter how much you try to be yourself, it won't serve you. And you do realize that now, don't you? And if you continue to do that for the next 5, 10, 20, I don't know, 3 decades maybe, do you think things will ever like look better in any way, shape, or form? Do you? Or things will just look the same, or even maybe worse, God forbid, who knows? What do you think? That is super important. Like, your current self, you have to kill it. In no way it is gonna like cut, like you have to cut the slack, you have to eat dirt for a while, you have to almost like put yourself in the trenches for a while to actually get it, to actually move the needle in your life. because otherwise you're just going to be the same. Yeah, you can be yourself. You can have everybody around you. You can just chill, have comfortable conversations, have a comfortable life. Everything is plain. Everything is boring. Everything is safe. That's the thing. Everything is safe. So when there's safety, there's comfortability. Nothing's going to really change, right? And when does the breakthrough happen? That breakthrough that you want in life. Does it happen when you're comfortable with your life? Or you have to put yourself in situations which just cause you a massive amount of discomfort? Which one is it? It has to be the second one, right? If you're logical with it, it has to be the second one. We're still gonna pick this first one because everybody told you so. Your teachers told you so. Your parents told you so. Your friends or your girlfriend or whatever told you to be yourself. Okay, you're being yourself. Now what? You think your current version is gonna cut it? You think you right now, the same person that has those vices, has those habits, is addicted to all those things, you think he's actually gonna make it in life? The same person who is just, at every single level, he's just average. You think he's actually gonna make it in life? Do you really think so? If you're being honest with yourself, you won't. You have to change a lot of things about yourself. You have to kill yourself, metaphorically. You have to kill that version of you to actually achieve those things in life. Otherwise, you're just going to be the same person, which is fine as well. Like, as long as that's what you want. But if you want something else, there's a cost to everything. Always remember that. There's a cost to everything. You can't have something without giving something away. That's how the universe works. This is how the food chain works. Like, look at it. Like, from the plants to the insects to the snake to the bird to, I don't know who eats it afterward. I don't know, whatever. The tiger and the human are at the top, right? But everything is a cost there, right? One thing dies, another thing grows. One thing dies, another thing grows. You have to almost die as a person so that you can be reborn as a person who can actually achieve those things and be the version of you who is you. No, you don't have to be the version of you. You don't have to be yourself. You have to be the best version of yourself. Don't be yourself. Be the best version of yourself. That is more important. Be the version of yourself you're supposed to be. Be the version of yourself you're meant to be. The life that you're meant to live, not what anybody else has told you. That is more important. And then only you can live a life which is more entwined with your heart, which is more entwined with your purpose. And it will feel more natural to you, as opposed to just following somebody else's bullshit plan, which doesn't even make sense in the first place. Yeah, that's there. That's the worst bit of advice I've ever received in my entire life. It's so simple, but it's bogus actually, and it costed me a lot of times in my life. Not that much to that big extent, but I feel like a lot of stuff I could have learned. I could have you know done better. I could have improved in certain aspects if I didn't follow that advice. But hey, it's never too late to learn. I learned it the hard way. You don't have to, but if you still want to learn it the hardest possible way, be my guest. Nobody's stopping you. You never know how you're gonna learn. And maybe that's how life is. Like, this lesson won't make sense to you if you haven't lived through this. That's really important as well. I want to make a point about that as well. Like, you haven't lived life that way. If you haven't lived in a position where you just feel a bit off and you feel like nothing is truly your own and you don't feel in line with your own self, then that just means that, you know what, you being who you are right now is not going to cut it for you, and you have to kill yourself. And this advice will make more sense to you that way, honestly. And in that moment, you might have to burn the bridges. You might have to cut your old patterns, cut your routines. You might even have to go away from some of the friends that you're hanging out with. They might be good people, whatnot, but they don't serve your life. You might even have to go away from your girlfriend and whatnot. You might have to leave your girl and whatnot. Yes, it's hard, and you might love her and whatnot, but things are not going to work out if you stay with that same person for the rest of your time. It is hard, but it has to be done because there's a cost to everything. And you have to be willing to pay that cost if you want those things that you actually want to achieve in your life. And always remember, what is not meant for you right now, you didn't have it, always remember that something better is coming in the future. Something better is coming. You don't know what exactly, but something better is coming. And it's already in your life. Now it's just reality is going to catch up to it ultimately. And everything's going to be fine. Just, we take life too seriously sometimes. That's why I just relax for a while. But that's about it, honestly. That was the idea today with the video. I hope you guys actually understood the idea. Again, if you apply it, or at least understand it to somewhat of a degree, or just get a baseline idea, it will make so much sense. It will make your life so much more easier, honestly. Easier in the fact that you don't have to, be worried about who you are, But definitely, like, it is gonna, still gonna, life is still gonna be difficult. You can never escape that. We all have problems. We all have troubles. That's always gonna be there. But that was the video, honestly, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. The next one is gonna be identity reconstruct. It's gonna be the next video. I promise that. It's either that one or there are no videos on this channel after that. That is as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.